Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of Run It Back, and we got Brooqlyn with us today, man. All right, low key, this was supposed to be like our Black History type shit, but like we waited so late that it's not like March, so it's cool. But Brooqlyn, man, what's up? I'm gonna introduce you first because you are a newcomer to Run It Back. What is up?
Chilling, bro. Feels good to be here. Yeah, I'm ready for this.
Glad to have you here, man. Didn't know you were the biggest movie guy. Tell the people just real quick some of your favorite movies, just so they can get a little insight into you.
Well, as you know, I got an issue. I like watching drug dealer movies. So my favorite movie of all time is always gonna be American Gangster. Ain't nothing gonna stop that. I don't know if anything ever gonna top that.
Crazy. What a crazy take. But I'm not mad at that because I'm with you. I love bang bang, shoot 'em up, drug dealer, crime. That's all. That's my bag as well. But glad to have you with us, joining us as always. To the bottom, I guess. Bottom right for you people. Shubert, what is up, bro?
I'm on the top of for me.
Well,
I was wondering who
he's no shit. This dude's silly, bro. No shit, you're on the top for you.
So I was wondering. I was like, who's he talking about? But yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing just fine. Like, I love this movie that we're about to talk about. It means when we actually, this is probably one of the only movies that we've done on Run It Back that we've actually reviewed on Bros Who Binge.
And that's something I was going to ask you about, because this is probably our newest movie that we've done on Run It Back. Like, we try to keep it old, but like this one was something that I felt like we should do. How do you feel differently since when we reviewed it on Bros Who Binge? Do you feel differently?
I think I feel a little bit differently, and we'll go into the conversations about it because the time that movie came out, a lot of things hit different than when you watch it now, because it's 3 years later.
Yeah.
So, but I still think that the movie is damn near phenomenal and finds a way to be that nearly perfect movie.
I'd cut out 2 parts, and we talked about this on Bros Who Binge. There's 2 parts I would cut out to make it not feel tied down to a specific time period. But we're going to get to that. Also joining us, our other Run It Back compadre, Ian. Ian, what is up, brother? You're about to have a pitch it match, bro. What's up, dog?
I'm getting ready for that. I've been going and reading a lot of IMDb pages lately, trying to brush up on things I know I'm not going to have time to watch all the way through. Specifically anime, because that's my biggest weakness, I feel like, going into this thing.
It doesn't come up very often.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Fingers crossed, man. I'm knocking on every piece of wood I see between now and then.
Well, we shall see. But, tell us what you thought about, give us your opening thoughts about this movie. Did you enjoy it?
This was, like many of the movies, I feel like a broken record with this. This was my first time seeing this movie. And I'll save my takes. How about that? We'll just go through it.
Ooh, I feel like this is about to be a divisive episode. Damn. All right, Brooqlyn, since you're new here, tell us your initial thoughts of this movie.
I to piggyback off of what Shubert said, the first time I saw the movie was when it was first released. And obviously, I thought it was a phenomenal movie. But my takes on it in 2021 are a little different. But overall, I do like the movie. There was probably a few things, just a few little cringy things that I'll probably take out. But overall, I did like the movie.
I definitely agree with that. But I gotta say, the core elements to this movie are fucking incredible, man. Like, right. You got JD Dubs, you got Adam Driver. Can't really beat that. And funny enough, I actually like the Klans members a lot more now than I did probably in 2018. Like, Shubert, after watching The Five Bloods and getting to see what Paul Walter Hauser and that other dude work with Spike again, I don't know. I just feel at home with these guys. I like these guys. Well, yeah, I mean, these guys are good actors.
Yeah, because this was Paul Walter Hauser's almost breakout.
It was so this, like, and for Joseph Paconin. Like, it was for both of those dudes.
Yeah, I think that they did their roles like super, super well for BlackkKklansman, but it's been really great to see them do other things. So you do kind of see them in a new lens, but I think that they do such a good job of like taking that out, for me at least, that I pretty much see them as those scumbags whenever I watch that movie.
And that's a great point, because my girlfriend was watching that. She was like, wait, is that the people that did the mines in The Five Bloods? I was like, yeah, you don't remember that? She was like, yeah, these people suck in this one. I was like, that's the purpose. That's the point. They're really good.
That's good acting.
That's really good at what they do. But If you are a Run It Back viewer, or if this is your first time, this is how the show works. We already gave our initial thoughts. So now I'm going to give some background about the film, just a couple of little things that happened in its making. Then we'll go through the best scenes, who won the movie, who lost the movie, sixth man of the movie. And then I have some best quotes. And then I have a big Are We Sure? Like a really big Are We Sure that in 2018, I don't know, I was thinking about. But after like the year of watching One Night in Miami and Judas and the Black Messiah, this Are We Sure has to be asked. It has to be asked. But we'll get to all of that. All right, let's run through background. BlackkKklansman is a 2018 American biographical black comedy crime film directed by Spike Lee, written by Charlie Watchell, David Rabinowitz, Kevin Wilmoth, and Lee, based on the 2014 memoir BlackkKklansman by Ron Stallworth. The film stars my guy, John David Washington, JD Dubs, as I will be calling him a lot throughout this episode, with Adam Driver, Laura Harrier, and Topher Grace. Set in the 1970s in Colorado Springs, the plot follows the first African-American detective in the city's police department as he sets out to infiltrate and expose the local Ku Klux Klan chapter. The film was produced by Spike Lee and a bunch of other people, along with Jason Blum and Jordan Peele. QC Entertainment purchased the rights to the film in the book in 2015. Wait, Brooqlyn, is QC Entertainment? Is that quality control? Like, like I didn't research deeper than that, but like, is that
like
P? I don't want to put that on Lil Baby Amigos, but you know, QC Entertainment, if y'all know what it is, let us know in the comments below. Purchased the film rights to the books in 2015. Lee signed on as the director in 2017. Much of the cast joined the following month, and filming began in New York State. That's interesting. They didn't film in Colorado, which I mean, you can kind of tell because it doesn't look very Colorado-y. I've been in Colorado. It looked like they were in Jersey. But, you know, I digress. BlackkKklansman premiered on May 14th, 2018 at Cannes, where it won the Grand Prix. It was theatrically released in the United States on August 2018, a day before the first anniversary of the Unite the Right rally. Didn't know that. The film received acclaim from critics and praised Lee's direction and the performance, including Washington and Driver. The film received 6 nominations at the Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay, making it Lee's first competitive award win. And then he won some stuff at the Golden Globes. Shubert, I want to ask you, let me pull up the 91st Academy Awards. I know we always like to do this. Should it have won Best Picture? Now, let me tell you what it was up against. Black Panther, Green Book won, which looking back on it in just 3 years ago, that's kind of a trash win. Then you got Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice.
Talking about Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if Green Book should have won. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, did you see Vice? You saw Vice.
Yeah, I saw Vice. You know I saw Vice. Vice is great.
We reviewed that.
Yeah, we definitely did. I would have given it to Vice or BlackkKklansman. And we said that before, and I think it still stands now. Yeah, I could see A Star is Born getting it too. I could see Roma getting it too, but I just don't agree with Green Book. And that's even 3 years later. Best Supporting Actor, I still think Adam Driver got robbed because Mahershala Ali in Green Book was cool. But to me, I like Flip, man. Flip Zimmerman, think he should have won it. Trying to see anything else because we always like to talk about these.
I think John David Washington could have been nominated.
I agree with that as well. I think.
I just don't know that Willem Dafoe movie.
I don't know. He's not beating out Rami.
Van Gogh in that movie.
He's not beating out Christian Bale. He's not beating out Bradley Cooper. It's either Vigo or William Dafoe that I think he could have beat out. If I'm being honest, one of them. So. Just want to throw that out there. But I don't think he should have won Best Director, and that'll get into my qualms with the movie. But I think he still could have won Best Picture. So, but that's
the real Best Picture winner that night was Into the Spider-Verse. But I mean, I digress.
This guy. All right, let's get into best scenes. I'll set this up. So since we're running 4-man weave, I'll just say one and we'll just go in order. And please, I beg of y'all, stay in order of the movie. But all right, so the first scene I got, the Alec Baldwin intro. It was great. I thought the Alec Baldwin intro was fire. When he was doing his thing, like constantly saying it over and over, I was like, look at this guy, Alec Baldwin, killing it. And maybe it's because I've been watching 30 Rock recently that my love for Alec Baldwin has grown even more so. And then when I watched this, I was like, look at him killing this as a racist. Brooqlyn, let me ask you, as a black guy, is it hard to pull for some of these people?
not, especially not Alec Baldwin. I've seen him in so many different lights. It didn't change anything for me. And I like the fact that they kept all the cuts in there of like him having to retake it and shit like that. I like that. He was like, ooh, I need to put more emphasis behind that one. Hold on. Let me retake that. Watch this. I'm finna blow their minds with this one. I like that, how they kept that in there. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I fucked with that heavy. All right, I'll go to you, Ian. What's the next scene you have after that? Because you haven't talked much, and I feel like you're not liking this movie.
Or what'd you think about that scene?
Oh, yeah, what'd you think about that scene, too?
I like that scene a lot. I thought it was a great way to start the movie with something really jarring to immediately pull you in. Like, I do have a lot of issues with this movie, and we'll talk about them as we get to them, I suppose. But this was one of the scenes that I thought was done to perfection, where it was enough, of a glimpse into the life where it would hook you in right away without too much background or explanation having to be done. Like, you kind of get what you're supposed to get out of that scene. And then hopefully the audience will be hooked at that point. If not, I don't know what would do it.
That's a fact.
So I thought that was a great, just like cold open to get into the movie.
No, I agree with that 100%.
It's supposed to be a tone setter. It's supposed to be like, okay, just so you know, white people are saying the N-word. Like, that's what's happening in this.
Bro, wait. I guess we might as well do this right now. I didn't realize how much they said the N-word in 2018. Like, today, me watching it, I was like, damn, they really, like, there was this, well, I guess I'll wait to say the scene, but like, it was just nigga. It was just every 5 seconds. Like, I was like,
that was in 2018.
No. I know. I'm saying in 2018 when I saw the movie, I don't know if I realized it had that much of it in it, but I'm glad it did because it made the movie realistic. And that's one of my questions I have later about the realism of this movie. But I digress.
You think if they made it now, they wouldn't have that?
Oh, no, they would have to. They would I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with the verbiage. I don't. And that's not what I'm saying by this. I'm just saying I didn't remember it being that many. That's
okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Caught you by surprise?
Yeah, just caught me a tad by surprise. So what scene do you have next, Ian?
The movie moves relatively quickly once that first scene with Alec Baldwin is over. I mean, you really don't get much background at all coming into the whole thing. It starts off, I think the next scene is John David Washington pulling up to the police station for the first time and going in for his interview. So at that point, whereas the audience could pick up really quickly what was going on in the first scene, you kind of have to wait it out for the next like 2 or 3 scenes to be able to grasp what's going on with this guy. And I suppose that's my main qualm with the movie is I wish there would have been a lot more background on many of the characters, but specifically John David Washington's character.
I'm not mad at that.
And I guess I can point out specific instances where there were things that just took me out of the movie. So I guess if anyone wants to say anything about this scene first.
Oh, I got to, because Shubert, my guy was in this. Oh shit. And he did it. I loved it.
But it was random, bro. It was so fucking random. It was just like, so you just put him in this, he go, shit.
I love it.
That's literally what they put him in there for. And I was like, see, that's Spike Lee being Spike Lee. That was so unnecessary, bro. That shit was so unnecessary.
You couldn't have him on the screen without him doing it.
Wasn't that like the only time he was on the fucking screen?
Yes.
I fucking loved it. I loved it. That was one of my favorite scenes. I wrote it down. I was like, oh shit. Like, that's his name, bro. Shout out to that guy. We got love for you on bros who binge and whatnot. All right, Shubert, what scene you got? What scene where you headed after this?
I mean, like, I think that whole cops scene is just like really great. I mean, like, he goes through the stuff about him being like the Jackie Robinson of the Colorado Springs Police Department, and he's like, Jackie Robinson is, right? He's like, yes, I know the story of Jackie Robinson. And I love just like the way that their banter goes. It's just like you can tell that this dude is like not trying to be a racist, but he is a racist, not trying to make it seem like he is a racist, but is a racist. And I just love when all shit John David comes out. Hand, just like, whatever.
When all shit just comes out, I was like, so what if they call you a nigga? And he was like, I'm gonna be professional. I thought that was what else do you say to that guy in that sense? Because you got to ask him, because he's gonna get called that on the regular. And that's one of my qualms. I don't know if John David Washington would have been loved like this movie showed him being loved.
He just in real life. At the beginning, he was the guy in the file room getting called a toad every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just thought it would have been worse. I don't know. Well, we'll get to more of that. I'll get to more of that. I'll point out more instances.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, even at the root of police officers, it goes with that bad cop too. They protect their own in a way. So, like, to them, it seems like he was, a toad. But I mean, like, he's at the bottom of the totem pole, and like they're not gonna like treat him like they would someone out on the street. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he's still a cop.
Yeah, that's true too. That is true too. Also, Brooqlyn, what a weird thing to call a black person a toad. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it was strange at first because I remember when I first watched it, I was like, I don't get it. And now I'm like, I don't get it. So it was just like, what the fuck? Where did y'all come up with that? And why did y'all come up with that? Like,
I was just like, white people got to pick better names because that's not a good one. A toad.
Yeah,
Was that like a thing at the time?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
Before.
Like, there's some words that were said that y'all can't say, but like toad, I don't fucking know what that is. I don't know what the fuck that is.
And when I first saw it, I thought he was just like saying what they had called whatever that was. Like, I didn't realize that was like a derogatory term or anything.
Exactly. But like at the end, when he's talking to David Duke, when he listed off, it's like, all right, I heard those, like Jigaboo and Porch Monkey. Like, I've heard those, but like toad, I don't know what the fuck that is. So strange.
I thought toad was for French people.
Again, just maybe it's just a Colorado racist thing because this is Colorado. So, and that does play into it because, it's not necessarily the deep South. The next scene I have is when we get to the Kwame Ture speech. I'm like, all right, this shit is badass. We get old boy from a Straight Outta Compton acting up in here. But Brooqlyn, I thought they might have had a little too many Spike Lee-isms in that moment.
Explain what the Spike Lee-ism was for you, because a part of it is probably why I like the scene, and it's probably why you don't like the scene.
When they just kept showing the random people faces, and it was just like,
bro, I liked that. I liked
y'all
that.
fucked with
because
that?
They showed you how each person was consuming the speech. You bugging, bro. That was the Spike-ism that I was like, okay, Lee, okay, Spike. Because it would have been nothing to just show us, everybody's face in the crowd, but I liked how they had it. Each person, like, just on the edge of their seat, just waiting and just consuming every fucking word he said. I was like, okay, bro. Show me how powerful this speech is by showing me everybody's face individually. I was like,
all right. You fucked with that. And that was my Spike Lee-ism. But I did fuck with how he kept making him repeat shit like the Tarzan thing, and how he was like, when he kept saying like, fuck something, and he just kept saying it over and over. I was like, all right, I'm getting this. I'm digging this speech. Maybe not Judas and the Black Messiah level quality speech, but still a good speech. Still a
not
good
Fred
speech.
Hampton.
Yeah, not definitely not Fred Hampton. Kwame Ture wasn't moving the masses like that, but
after, that's one thing I really enjoyed this rewatch is because I had seen Judas and the Black Messiah, and you can like take a little bit of what you learned from the Black Panthers in Chicago, and then like when you get to Kwame Ture, you can tell that there are some parallels on like their philosophies. So like that I thought was really interesting for the rewatch for me. But when it comes to this is where we get introduced to Laura Harrier's character, and she was completely unrecognizable from being a Spider-Man actress. Like when this chick came up, I was like, who is this actress? I have never seen this actress before, when I had seen her just a year ago in Spider-Man Homecoming. So
yeah, I definitely thought she killed it.
I thought this was the best role I've ever seen her in.
Yeah, sure. No, I agree with that 100%. Well, Shubert, I'll come to you. What's the next thing you have after that, after the Ture speech and everything going on in there?
I think it has to do with the scene where he is talking to Patrice later that night, and Patrice is going over the cop encounter.
Yep, that's the next thing I wrote down.
And I mean, it's a pretty big scene. It has weight for what happens later in the movie in one end, and it kind of describes that even though there is a black man in the police department, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be anything different with the way that the police treat black people in the street. Yeah. So that's kind of like what that scene was there to portray.
No, 100%. And I agree with everything you said. And it's like, ain't shit sweet. Like, we still pulling y'all over, and they still had guns drawn. Like, fuck right. Ron Stallworth. Like, we still doing our thing, man. What's wrong with you? But the next thing I have is the first time Ron Stallworth talks to the Klan.
Bro, this man got my list over there, bro.
What'd you think of that scene, B? Because I thought it was great.
I loved the way that, like, he just went all straight into it. Like, just raw, didn't really know what he was going to do. Just knew that he had to put on his professional voice. And then when they cut away and they show all the officers in the station going, Motherfucker, did you just use your real name?
Yeah. Just straight up, just uses.
Well, and also when he starts using all the slurs.
Yeah, he was just, and everybody's slowly turning around, and Adam Driver does not turn around until he hears the Jew slur, and he's like,
yeah.
All right, my ears are perked. Also, I love how you said his professional voice, because before that happened, or maybe right after that happens, he has the code switching conversation with the chief about how I can speak jive and I can speak the King's English, explaining why they should do the mission. So I thought all of that was a good little moment for the movie. Ian, where are you going next? Whether negative or positive, where are you at?
So one of the first things that made me go like, okay, was when they went to the bar, right? Like after the speech that they went to see from Kwame.
Gotcha.
And they're like sitting at the bar, and she like recounts this whole traumatic event, and then all of a sudden they go dance, and they dance for longer than they were even talking in the bar. Like they talked for like maybe 25-30 seconds about like, hey, this horrible traumatic experience just happened to me, and he's like, oh, word, that sucks, let's go fucking get a groove on. And then
he's trying to make her forget,
5
bro.
straight minutes. It's like, this chick is not going to be in the mood for dancing. She just got harassed by the police. Why are
she was
they
trying to get down? That song was
getting
hot.
in the line?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, it was just a vibe, man. She had to get it off her chest. It was over with.
Nah, that's facts, bro.
Like, she's not even like, okay, tell me about you now. She's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna go dance with this strange dude that was giving me weird vibes in the line earlier at the speech.
Different times,
like
Ian.
That was a big "Are we sure" moment.
Nah, that was
like,
a Spike. That was a Spike
just
moment. I believe him. Yeah, I'm on your side with that. That was some Spike shit.
Funny enough, he does do that again in the Five Bloods when the guys are dancing, and it's the famous meme. He does do that exact same thing. It's definitely a Spikeism. All right, cool. All right, next scene I have on the list is okay. So
they are getting together to plan the con, because they have to meet up in person, and like, what are you going to do? Well, you've been talking to them on the phone. How are we going to meet them in person? And then Flip comes in and becomes the guy that is going to do that. And it's risky for him as well, because he's Jewish and non-practicing, that we don't know that yet.
Yep. That was the next scene I wrote down, because I wrote down specifically, they talk about them being fans of OJ, and they're like, oh,
and Willie Mays and shit like that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, OJ. It's just crazy looking at how that man has changed, and like how much people loved him in that time period. But it goes back to Schubert's point about he's one of the most interesting people I would choose to interview every time.
Yeah, he's top 5 lifetime interview for sure.
Thanks.
So
I want to sit in a room with him.
And no, I know you told me that. You told us that multiple times, and it just goes back to your point about how important it was, because that stuck out to me like a sore thumb. And then I got the next thing is when Driver goes meets the Klan.
Yeah, pretty much
for the first time. And then
what's interesting when he does encounter that first meeting is that they're in the car or whatever, and John David Washington gets too close or whatever, and like they try and like offer a warning shot or something like that, or
no, he does like a maneuver.
Yeah, something like that.
Felix has to do a maneuver, and that's when you start to see the vibes of like, ooh, okay, Walter's feeling Flip, but Felix isn't feeling Flip, and Walter's the dude with the glasses. Felix is the guy with the mustache.
And Felix, for being a complete foreigner, like, he's from Sweden or something.
Yeah, he is.
He plays white racist so great.
Yeah, he did.
He is the creepiest, scariest person in that movie.
And like him and Paul Walter Hauser kill it. It's just the two races, like even better than the dude with the glasses. Like the dude with the glasses is kind of like, I don't know if I buy you as a racist.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I don't know. He was all right, but those two killed it. Okay, so that was a great moment. I think the next scene I have after that is
so like they're in the pool hall or whatever, and Paul Walter Hauser's like talking about possible explosion that gives them the ability to continue their job, which is what kind of keeps them going down the rabbit hole of the KKK, and they believed it, or maybe what's his face, the Swedish guy, he doesn't believe it.
The sergeant believed it enough for them to let them keep it going. Yeah.
Felix does not believe it.
Felix does not believe it.
No, right. Felix has been skeptical this whole time. What's the next scene you got after that, B?
After that is when he speaks to.
You got David Duke for the first time, because that's what I wrote down.
I was about to say, after he speaks to when he speaks to David Duke for the first time, and what does this motherfucker say? When Duke starts saying how he doesn't hate black people.
Yeah,
I feel like that moment was like, what?
And he was just like, I just want them to be with their own kind. Topher Grace. Great performance by Topher Grace.
Fire, bro.
Gotta say, Eric did his thing. I'm glad y'all all agree, because my girlfriend disagreed. She was like, I just see Eric. And I was like, huh?
Nah, bro.
I was like, he killed it. In Spider-Man, I see Eric. But in this, I think he was great.
That was the last time I was like, damn, that's Eric. When he did the Brock, when he was Eddie Brock, I was like, that's Eric.
Yeah, that's a fact. This was different. Ian, how are you feeling about this? Because you seem like you're pro Topher Grace in this.
No, I liked it. Yeah, at first I was like, okay, Eric, is this going to work? But he really did pull it off.
He definitely did.
I thought he showed a lot of maturity from just the straight man Eric that he played in that 70s show. Because I think he was the straight man in that show. You can maybe argue Red as well. But yeah, he showed a lot of versatility that I didn't think he was going to be able to pull off. And I guess we can talk about it more as you go through the movie. But honestly, he does look a lot like the real David. He
does.
Duke,
yeah.
Which was kind of fortunate as well. So I don't mind that choice by them at all.
Doing some research to talk about this, I did look into some behind the scenes stuff, and Topher Grace actually studied David Duke for a month to prepare for the film. He read his autobiography, watched the films. He said that during his research, he found that Duke to be even more of a racist than he thought. And what disturbed him about Duke's personality was his ability to charm the audience. So that was what he tried to.
He had that Ted Bundy quality of like, I'm this I'm not this non-suspecting white man.
Well, I mean, you see it at the end of the movie.
Yeah, you do, 100%.
In real life.
That's a fact. The next thing I have after that is after he talks to Duke for the first time, I have Ron. Okay, wait. No, I got Flip realizing his Jewishness is real when Ron gets the card and Flip's like, I don't want this shit. Like, I'm having to come to grips with the fact that, like, I am a Jewish man and I've been like hiding in the background as like a white dude.
He starts having that that self-conflicting moment where he's just like, I didn't fucking practice it, but he's like, this is still fucking wrong.
Yeah, facts. And that's after John David Washington asked him if he had skin in the game, and he had to think about it because he was like, bro, you're just doing a crusade. Like, I'm trying to do my job. And he's like, it's a little more than a job for you because they're just calling you all these Jewish like slurs and you're just cool with it.
Felix was coming crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
Felix was going hard, bro.
That was after they went to the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with the Jew lie detector test is what he
Bruh. Yeah, I should have wrote that down. I don't know why.
Actually, now that he says that, I got to bring it back. That's the point. I like the fact, because I don't want to sound like I'm supporting any kind of crazy thing.
No, and we've been saying this the whole time. When we say we're talking about the fucking movie. We're not talking about the ideologies behind the fucking movie.
The moment where Felix's wife tries to chime in, and they completely shut her down.
Fire moment.
That was needed for the time period
100%.
of where we're in. Because, like, they wanted her, yes, to be against black people, but they still wanted her to be against black people in the corner.
Yo, Shorty went harder than and I know there's later scenes, but that white lady went harder than a lot of them. Like, when they was watching a movie, yo, that white lady was going hard.
Oh, God, yeah.
She was going hard.
The commentary.
It was a lot.
You could tell she was really indoctrinated by the whole thing. I mean, like, even more so than a lot of the men in that group, I think.
Facts.
You know, a lot of them just thought of it as like a social club, basically, like a fraternity almost. But she was like, nah, I'm really down for the cause here.
She was. And then that's one of my Are We Sures. I'm going to wait till we get there, but there's an Are We Sure with her. Because, like, I'm like, I don't know if I'd have
There is one more thing I want to highlight in this scene, and that's when John David Washington realizes that Zimmerman is about, or Flip is about to, get himself into some deep shit, or he's going to have to reveal who he is.
Right.
Yep.
And so he throws the rock through the window, and then when everybody runs outside and Felix is about to shoot at him, Flip grabs the gun out of his hand and misses on purpose.
Right.
Because he doesn't want
John David Washington to get shot.
Yeah, he doesn't want him to get shot. So that ends up coming back to bite him later in the movie.
It does, and it's like
especially because he shows how good he is.
Exactly.
At shot.
Yeah. When he's pulling out the gun and he's like, "I bet y'all $50," and he just pow 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 pow, and just shows how he's a cop. And like
Felix is like,
Felix was on to him because let me be honest, Flip. I don't know if Flip ranks in like the top undercover cops. We can have that conversation now. How Definitely good of a, like in movie undercover cops? Where does Flip rank? I think he's at the bottom.
He got out of the lie detector test.
But that's because he threw a rock in the window.
Like he was gonna take it and lose. That's fair.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
he had the gun to his head. Like my dog Felix had the gun on the table. Like, let's go, go, bro. Is you or is you not a Jew? He was for the smoke him, bro.
He was. That's why I don't know if Flip is a good undercover cop in the realm of undercover cops of movies and TV. I think
Felix got onto him like the first fucking night.
Like that. And then he didn't have no backups if people knew like they didn't think about the phone book, which is like a scene that's coming up where Felix goes to his house and like goes to Ron's house and that shit was all weird. Like
and how can you be an undercover cop if there are people out there who know who you are that are criminals, you know?
Exactly,
like
bro. Exactly. Like those criminals are not supposed to be able to come back to Colorado. Like they're not supposed to be able to. And if they do, your ass is fucked.
Walter, the leader of the group, recognizes on the phone. He's like, "Hey, you sound way different in person than you do on the phone." And Flip wasn't even trying to put on a voice or anything. After a while, he was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna talk to my."
Is that an Are We Sure? Is that an Are We Sure? Because like he just chalked it up to allergies, but like, are we sure?
That was
I think he said, "I just sound different on the phone."
Which, no, he said I sound allergies. He said that which you said first, and then he was like, "Well, my allergies are fucking up," and he was like, "That happens to me too."
I mean, I feel like I sound different on the phone. So
maybe, I don't know. As long as I've known you, sound the exact same.
You sound like
he's sitting over there like, yeah, bro, what is he talking about?
You sound like an asshole either way, Shubert.
Well, that's good. Because that's what I'm going for.
All right. The next scene I think I have is after that, I got Ron gets nominated for president, and then like and Felix is flipping out. He's like, "Nah, bro, fuck this. We just met this dude 2 days ago." And Paul Walter Hauser, the fat one's like, "He just came off the street." I swear, I say this a lot, but I have a friend who looks just like that dude, and it's super uncanny. It like Schubert's seen it. It's crazy. Dude looks just like Paul Walter Hauser. Nuts, but great. I thought that was a good moment. And then the next real big thing is when David Duke says he knows when he's talking to a Negro and when he doesn't. I thought that was like the next big scene. Yeah, he was like, aura. I was trying to think of just different ways black people and white people say things, and I was like, of all the things to say, aura? Like, are you gonna fry some chicken? Like,
whenever I first saw that scene or whatever, and then my extensive background of hearing from racist Louisianians, it was pretty spot on. That's pretty much how they think black people talk.
At the station you worked at.
I was just so confused because I was like, I don't know too many, early 19th or early 20th century black people, but last time I checked, a lot of poor white Southern people say "Arya."
Yeah, that's a fact.
Aura. I'm like, come on, bro. That's not black people.
That's true. It's a lot of
that conversation just goes right back to Judas and the Black Messiah, but we're not talking about that movie.
That's true too, Shubert. That's a fact. All right. The next thing I have after that is Ron meets with the CIA and FBI. I thought that was a big moment. Did I skip anything in between?
You skipped a lot.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Shubert. What you got?
Well, the one thing I want to talk about is, when we were talking about that scene where they go to the shooting range or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I found interesting when I was doing the behind the scenes stuff is that those shooting targets weren't props. They were actually being sold online. The filmmakers found them. Those are real things.
Crazy. So real things that the KKK is buying.
Yes. So
crazy.
That was pretty crazy. And I guess the next thing I have, or the one thing the behind the scenes thing I didn't talk about that I want to talk about was the guy who played the Finnish guy or whatever, Felix.
Yeah.
Right. The guy who played Felix. He came into his audition as Felix, and they gave him the role or whatever, and they didn't know until after the audition that he wasn't American.
Crazy. That's how good he was, man. That dude said, I'm tired of being in Sweden. I'm coming to America and I'm getting this no matter what.
He was scary, dude. He was so scary.
Dude killed his role. Ian, any scenes you got before we talk about Ron meeting with the FBI or CIA?
Stallworth begins dating Patrice, but he doesn't tell her that he's a cop. Even when she directly asks him, he kind of just is like, "Nah, I'm in construction."
Yeah, she's like, "You a pig?"
Okay, I got a question for y'all.
He's like, I prefer that we don't call them pigs.
Yeah.
That's
police officers.
That's exactly something a cop would say. I asked my girlfriend, I was like, yo, would you still date me if I like lied about what I did? And then it turns out I was like a cop or something. She was like, no, but I was like, if you love me, I don't know if you could turn me away. Nah, how y'all feel about that? Would you date someone if you like fell in love with them and they told you they weren't a cop and then they turned out they were a cop?
It depends on the scenario. Like, I don't know.
For me, it
like,
just depends on
like,
it doesn't matter if you're a cop or what your profession. Like, why did you lie about your profession for?
He had to keep it a secret. He was undercover.
Now.
No, it's because she would have dumped him.
Oh well, that too, Shubert.
She literally had nothing to do with his undercover.
But actually no, because you got to remember he was, and they don't highlight this in the movie, and this was a criticism of it, and we might as well talk about it now. Brooke Shubert. He worked for COINTELPRO, like essentially, like that's what he did. Like he was essentially what dude was in Judas and the Black Messiah, but a cop version of it. He was a snitch. Like I know he's portrayed as a hero.
He didn't snitch, but he was there to snitch.
Exactly, and that's why he couldn't tell her. Because she would not have gotten with him if she knew that. And she asked him that later in the movie, and they kind of gloss over it. But like that's why he lied.
So that's the whole thing. It's like if you got to lie to me to get me in a relationship, then nah, I'm out of here because you've been disingenuous about a major point in your life for weeks, if not months now. I don't know how long this period of time is supposed to last.
Definitely weeks.
But yeah, at least weeks, if not months. Yeah, they're staking out the Klan for months.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he lied bad too.
I do have something before you get into that CIA meeting. When he meets with the sergeant after he talks to Duke several times, and the sergeant is telling him like Duke is trying to run for political office and shit like that, because that's why he changed his title to director.
That was a good moment.
And he was like, "What do you mean? I don't understand. Why would anybody vote for him?" And he was like, "As a black man in this country, you gotta be smarter than that." Naive. And I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, he was like, "Bro, you being dumb." Also, I was like, speaking of the sergeant meetings, one of my best quotes was when Flip and them came back after the shooting shit the first time, and the sergeant goes, "You're jerking my chain, and I'm getting a reach around from the chief. It's just one big giant fucking circle jerking here, and I'm the victim." I love that fucking line. I thought that
was perfect because that's how cops talk. They talk like that. They say the most gayest thing, and it will be homophobic 5 minutes later. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You just heard what you just said.
And that's just talking about the whole department jerking you off.
Yo, crazy. I thought that was a great line.
The one thing piggybacking off what Brooqlyn said about being like you were pretty naive for a black man or whatever. That was the whole Trump parallel scene, right? Where they're like,
they bring it back later in the movie.
They bring it back later in the movie. Yeah, it's like you don't. How could this not happen? And it's like, that's exactly the Trump parallel scene, 100%. So, all right, cool. Yeah. So the next thing I got is when he meets with the FBI and you find out like the FBI is involved in this. I had a question: was that guy FBI? Was that guy CIA? I like to tend to think he's. You think he was neither?
He said what he was early on. I don't remember what he said though. But it wasn't FBI and it was not CIA.
I thought he was CIA.
I think he told him that the files came from the FBI, but he didn't say that. He didn't say what he was involved in.
And that's why I thought he was CIA.
Say the files came from the FBI. He said this is what they have so far.
Yeah, and that's why I thought he was CIA. Exactly.
Is he third party? I was like, I didn't know what he was. I didn't know if he was just somebody helping them out in the investigation. But he said this is what they got. So if you want to look at this and compare yourself.
And that shows how the FBI was working with the fucking Klan and how it was tied in with the U.S. Army. Crazy shit. This movie showed a lot of crazy shit.
It was the Army. He was in the Army because that's how he found out about the dude still in the C4 because they were supposed to be working for the VA. And he was like, these motherfuckers supposed to be guarding buildings that got explosive in it.
Okay, I know he did that, but he just seemed like he knew too much just to be some Army dude. That's why I thought he was CIA.
It says Army CID. I don't know what CID stands for, but apparently he was passing information along to the Army.
Right.
And then he learns from an FBI agent that 2 of the members of the Klan are people who work at NORAD, which is headquartered in Colorado.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that guy was.
So he was third party in that situation, and that's why he gave him those files saying, "This is what they got. If you want to compare it to what you've been already working."
What
on.
a crazy time to live in, where shit like that's popping off. It just makes you think if the shit going on now must be 20 times crazier.
This is why they was all doing coke and shit. You know what I'm saying? I get it, bro. Gotta figure out somehow how to get rid of these. I gotta battle these demons somehow, Lex. Come on, bro.
Silly,
bro. Line it up.
All right, the next scene I have is Ron guarding David Duke when he finds out he has to guard David Duke.
That was fire, bro.
But before we get to that, what'd you guys think of the sequence where he's with Laura Harrier and they're talking about the blaxploitation films? I kind of want to see all those films.
That's on the bridge, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It made me want to go watch all those movies.
And the pimp, she was saying like pimps are not heroes, but that's how they were portraying them as pimp heroes.
And that goes back to how like the media was trying to control black people's thoughts to get us to where we are today. Low-key.
Superfly, Shaft.
And he was like, you better choose Shaft over Superfly. I still would choose Shaft over Superfly either way. Shaft was fire.
even if he wasn't a pimp, I would have still chose Shaft over it.
That's a fact. Shaft was hard. So, but I definitely would check out those movies. But also that scene definitely makes me think of Quentin Tarantino and Jackie Brown. That's what that scene makes me think of because of Pam Grier and whatnot and how Quentin Tarantino had a infatuation with her and he loved those movies. And it makes me think of Spike Lee and Quentin Tarantino's beef. That's the whole thing I was thinking of when I saw that bridge moment. But all right, yeah. So
the banquet, fuck those other cops for like, they was gonna ruin their thing. Like that was so risky.
Yeah, that was like, fucked up.
Like,
but that was the racist cop. And that's another question I have. Was that cop in the Klan? And he was just like,
what, the chief or the guy?
No, not the chief. I'm not blaming it on the chief. I'm talking about the guy.
But the chief was the one who set the assignment. I mean,
but the guy was the one who asked.
I don't care. You're gonna have to do it.
Well, yeah, for sure. Because the chief had no other men. Because the guy was like, I'm not doing it. Make Ron do it.
You talking about
Officer Landers?
Yeah, I'm talking about Landers.
Yeah, Landers. Yeah,
I thought Landers was.
Landers.
I thought Landers might have been in the Klan on the low.
No, I just think he was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I know he can't have been because then he would have snitched on him. But you
gotta remember and think of this in terms of the time. There was the KKK and there were the cops, and both were oppressing the same group of people.
That's true.
So like, does he have to be in the KKK to be oppressive? No, he's a cop, so he's already oppressing.
That's a fact. That's true.
He didn't need the KKK.
Just a different uniform.
Yeah,
exactly.
Facts. All right, word. All right, so then after that, I got that whole banquet and everything going on in there, and how one of the funniest moments was when the black waiter was like, "Of course, the day that I'm at work, this fucking shit is going down." He's like, "Fuck this shit. Why am I fucking here?" I thought that was hilarious. I thought the moment where Ron takes the picture with Duke was great, and then when Flip gets recognized by the dude he put in jail, I was just like, "Oh shit, it's going down."
The last behind the scenes thing I have is, according to John David Washington in an interview, he said that was the hardest scene for him to shoot when the banquet and they're saying all the racist things. And he said that after shooting that scene, he called up the real Ron Stallworth and was like, and asked him like, how could you have done that? Like,
yeah, bro, like, that's what I thought too. Because especially since he saw like the KKK actual like and I guess we didn't say this. He sees the KKK
the Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, in Inception, like them, like I guess indoctrinating their new members. And
it was
shit.
like baptizing
initiation.
Yeah, the initiation. That's what it was. And also, okay, Brooqlyn. At the same time, let me ask you how you feel about this, Brooqlyn, as a black man. This takes me out of the movie. This is the number one thing besides the ending that is a spikeism that I just don't like. You know, when they're doing the initiation on the Klan and they're showing the black side, do you know who's talking?
No.
That's Harry Belafonte as Harry Belafonte in 2018 talking in a movie in 1960-something about an experience that Harry Belafonte had at a young age. I don't like that.
Oh, that is dumb.
That was Harry Belafonte.
At his real age.
His real age now.
But he must be portraying a young...
I didn't fuck with that. I did not fuck with that.
It didn't make.
Did they run out of money?
I don't know. Like he was just telling a story that he experienced, but as an older man. But it's weird to me because it's him at his age now telling a story that he experienced at a young age.
It was for shock factor and to parallel The Birth of a Nation, because what The Birth of a Nation was showing was almost exactly what he was talking about.
Right,
Yeah.
but it would have made sense even if it wasn't him.
Yeah, they could have just chose someone else.
Then none of the extras could remember any lines. That's what it sounds like. So they just decided to keep him doing the thing.
Crazy, yeah. That's just one of the things.
I didn't realize that.
Not a fan of that, but other than that, but yeah, Schubert's right. The parallels were right. Needed, and that's when they're watching Birth of a Nation. God, that white lady sucks during that. Like, feels so bad for Ron Stallworth just sitting there having to watch that. Like, oof, it's part of his job, and I see why John David Washington had to call him. All right, so then the next thing I have is Flip gets recognized, and they're at the table, and he's like, Flip, and he's like, oh yeah, we went to school together. Isn't the federal pin there? Blah blah blah, and then they find out that the wife fucked up. She don't know what she's doing. Now, that's a question. Was she going to blow up that parade with herself? Was she going to sacrifice herself? Because where was she going to put the bomb? If she was supposed to blow up like the rally.
She was supposed to put the bomb near one of the big buildings. I can't remember what.
Was it in the phone booth or was she supposed to carry it?
She was supposed to leave it
into a building.
Right, and leave it at the side of a building and walk away.
Yeah, there were a bunch of cops there for some reason.
But that's because JDW called him.
Yeah, he had tipped them off that she's on her way. As soon as she left the building, he ran about and he was like, "It's going down right now. The bitch done left."
And I was just confused. I didn't know if she was about to suicide herself, and I was like, "Whoa, would you do that?"
No. Did you remember the when they had the garage scene? He was like, "Baby, all you got to do is lead the purse somewhere, touching the building.
That's true.
Walk away and press this button."
But true. Like, I think what Lyndon's saying is when they're like, "We got to do Plan B," and then he's like, baby, we told you that you were going to have to do something.
That's what I thought.
Okay. You know, Plan B was her open herself. I was
like, yo, what is she about to do? Is she about to do this? Like, I wasn't doing it for that guy after he didn't want to let you talk at the rally. Like, what's wrong with you? Blowing yourself up for this guy. Shit's dumb. All right, and then the next scene I got is they're going to stop the white lady from blowing up Patrice's car, and Patrice's car blows up, and the shit is.
Whoa, hold on, bro.
What I skip?
When they beat his ass. The cops was beating his ass because they didn't believe he was a cop. And she was like, he was trying to rape me. Ain't nobody want your big ugly ass. You got an apron on in the middle of the day outside. Ain't nobody want you. But they were still beating his ass. The car blows up. They still got this motherfucker in cuffs, bro. That's when Flip shows up like, motherfucking CCPD, bro, get this motherfucker out the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
But my "are we sure" for that is like, if they're cops, like, have they not seen this dude around? Do they not know that
that was the "are you sure" moment for sure? Yeah,
that's a good "are we sure" moment. That is a good one. Also, what else? Dude, feel bad. Dude, that white lady started crying turtle tears because she realized she killed her husband. She was supposed to leave it on Patrice's doorstep, left it in the car. The dude's car flips over for that guy. What
a Paul Walter Hauser.
What a weird like death. Like, it just seemed like his death was like brushed over.
Oh no, I thought it was.
That's what you get,
justice.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, we don't need to focus on that shit for too long. You get fucked if you try and do some fuck shit, and then we move on.
That's true, and he got fucked, and that's all the scenes I have. I feel like the movie should have ended like there, but I do like him calling David Duke, hanging up the phone.
That's a funny scene.
That was a great scene. But other than that, when that Donald Trump shit started going off, that's when the movie should they shouldn't have put that shit in there.
Well,
because they come back at the end. Sorry, go ahead.
Go for it. No, go for it.
I was gonna say they come back at the end, and the chief is like, "Hey, great job, guys, but also we're gonna destroy all the records of this and never talk about this again."
They had to cover that shit up. Yeah, that was fucked. That was that was another good moment. That and the David Duke scene. But other than that, get that Donald Trump shit out of here. I feel like
that was necessary.
That was something that I feel like when it came out was fine to put in there, and it should have just been a theatrical thing.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been in the. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Because it puts your movie in like a weird time, like lock in, and it's like. It seems like your movie's tied down to this, and the movie would be a lot. You don't need that. You've already put enough subtle like references to modern day as it is, and you've put enough tie-ins to where it's like, okay, we see the connections. You don't have to be obvious. To me, this is the same problem I have with The Departed, where Martin Scorsese is a commentary on snitches and rats, and at the end of the fucking movie, he shows a rat on the fucking ledge of the building eating a piece of cheese. Like, that's too fucking much. That's too on the fucking nose. Like, you didn't have to put Donald Trump in the Charlottesville shit and all that shit in there.
Now, I do think that it's nice to, I wouldn't say nice, but I mean, I do think it's powerful to see the actual David Duke talking. That's the only thing I think is good about that, because like then you get to see like the real person, and like for people who don't really know a lot about David Duke. You know,
I'm fine with that. That's not bad.
I wish they
put all the modern day
done
shit.
that, and I wish they would have showed a little bit of like real life Ron Stallworth.
Yeah, and that goes back to Ian's point about how they didn't put enough background on Ron Stallworth, and we don't know about him, the person.
This entire movie, literally the only thing we learn about his background is right at the very end when he's like, yeah, all my life I always wanted to be a cop. He doesn't talk about why he wanted to be a cop. He doesn't talk about his family at all, and if that influenced him. He doesn't talk about any like traumatic experiences in his past to lead him there. And we also don't know why I think they can't do that. Hire him.
You want to know why I don't think they do that? I don't think they can, because it ruins the image of him being a hero, because he's a complicated person, because he works for COINTELPRO. That's why I don't think they did that, because it becomes it becomes a different movie, because the movie right now is about this police
a black man taking down the KKK.
Yes, as a police and coming together with a white Jewish man, and there's unity. But in actuality, he was a black man who spied on black men and worked for COINTELPRO and was snitching on them, but ended up doing this as well. So he's a complicated character, or a complicated human being.
This is just because this was an adaptation of a book. I think most of my qualms with the movie would have been resolved by the book, because they probably gave that context that at times.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's a memoir.
And the only reason why I know all of this is because I looked it up for the background. That's the only reason why I know this, because I didn't know this in 2018 when me and Shubert watched the movie. So that, and like, I feel like that's why you don't get a lot of who Ron Stallworth was, because he's a complicated human being, and like it changes the movie's like perspective and like what the movie's actually about at that point.
Last thing about,
because it is some propaganda.
Last thing about the movie in general, for the most part, you know, Ian said it moved really fast. I kind of like that, because you know me, I don't like long drawn out things. So I like the pace, and I think the music is phenomenal. That's what really puts me in like a mood to watch this movie. I like the little like
do. It's like a western. It's like a western almost.
Yeah,
I fuck with that as well.
It was still a decently long movie. It was 135 minutes.
It was, but Schubert's right. It does move pretty fast. And Ian, now that you are saying your qualms, I definitely do feel like that's a detraction from the movie. Like me being objective, that is definitely a detraction of it.
There were just a lot of "are we sure's?"
What you got? List them off.
So the dancing scene at the bar I talked about. When Patrice and the real Ron are walking on the bridge, I thought that scene left a lot to be desired, just like the restaurant scene where he's denying being a cop. Like in both of those scenes, they're like, can we just have like a nice moment between you and I, and like not think about the outside world? And then as soon as they say those words, they just cut to the next scene. Right. So like, do we want to have this nice intimate moment? Do we not care that much about it? Like, we got to make up our minds here. I wrote down like a time marker, like at a minute 15 into the movie, we still don't know any background about like really any of the main characters, except that Adam Driver is a Jewish guy who wasn't raised to be Jewish. That's like the most in-depth we've gotten with any of the characters at that point. Then the scene with the flyers on Patrice's car, I just thought this was weird directorially. You remember the scene where they find all the flyers on their cars, and John David Washington rolls up and he tells her to be cool, and the other girl that's with them says, "We're always too cool, that's our problem." And he just says, "Yeah, like whatever, bitch, excuse us." And then they walk out of the scene. Like, imagine if you were either of those two other people who weren't Patrice, and John David Washington rolls up and is just like, "Yeah, we're gonna go talk now," and then like scoops her out. Like, imagine if someone just commandeered the conversation like that. You'd be like, wow, what an asshole. I hate this guy.
I did notice that. Yeah.
I definitely noticed that as well. Ian, the only thing I can say to your qualms is, because you do make a great point, the movie's not about these people. The movie's about the incident of a black man infiltrating the KKK.
But then, like, what what's the point of the movie? Like, if the movie is not about the people doing the infiltrating of the KKK or the KKK members themselves, I mean, to a certain extent, I'd argue it's about David Duke more than anyone. Like, what are we really trying to portray with this movie? Are we just portraying the story of this guy, but like in a vague way that doesn't do the book justice? I mean, that's kind of what I felt from this. Like, this made me want to go read the book to see if the book
was accurate
or presents that background information that I was looking for. Then there were a couple "Are we sure's" right at the end. The biggest one that I had was, why does the police chief, after being an asshole and asking them to destroy all the records about this wonderful investigation that they just did, why does he then turn on his own fellow cop Landers at the end? Like, when have we ever known the police to turn on the police?
And that's my "Are we sure?"
Also racist, like the chief.
I asked,
like,
are we sure that everything's copacetic now? Like, is everything copacetic where like Ron Stallworth is loved by everybody? That was my question. Like, in the 60s, he would have still been the N-word to them. Like, it's still like,
yeah, it's like one of those things where, why would the captain have cared? Like, if Ron Stallworth would have came to the captain with that, the captain would have been like, so.
Yeah, exactly. But that goes back to my point of this is kind of propaganda. This is to show, this is not to question the cops. It's more so to put cops in a better light, almost.
Now, to play devil's advocate, this is why I didn't win Best Picture, motherfucker.
True. That's true. That's a good point. Because there, and we see with Judas and the Black Messiah, they show the cops for who they actually are in that time period, where this doesn't do that. This is more so. And this is why I think the people's relationships don't matter, Ian. This is more fantasy than anything.
Because it's Spikeism.
This is more of a pulp rendition of it than this is like how Tarantino does Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and tells the Marilyn Manson murders, but it's not about the Marilyn Manson murders, and he redirects history. He tells his own rendition of history.
You saying Charlie Manson?
Yeah. Yeah, not
as far as I know, Marilyn Manson hasn't killed anybody.
No, you're right. I'm
we'll see.
Not yet.
But then, but what are we supposed to do with this movie? Like, what am I, as the viewer, supposed to get from this movie? If we're not focusing on how shitty the cops are and we're painting them to be like, yeah, they got their flaws, but they're still pretty cool. Are we just like ragging on the Klan for 2 hours? Is that the point of this movie?
Pretty much,
yeah.
Pretty much.
Or like, and also like, going into how stupid they could have been to let that happen, because in reality it did happen. Like it happened. It was real. So
well, and that's why my point about this movie being about David Duke more than anything is just to expose, like, even the leader of this whole cult can still be the biggest idiot on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And not realize that he's been talking to a black man for months now about how much he hates black people.
That is true. And yeah, maybe this is why I didn't win Best Picture. No, we're making valid points, because this was a big complaint of some black critics of this movie, of it being propaganda. I read that a bunch, and it is what it is. Some people say Spike got paid by the New York Police Department to make this. That's also a rumor.
They got some big money over there, man.
I do think that one thing that hurts this movie is Judas and the Black Messiah.
1000%. The thing that saves this movie is its acting. Its acting is what makes me come back to this movie. The acting is phenomenal. It's not necessarily the story. It's John David Washington, Driver, and Pekonen. That's what makes you come back to this movie.
And even the side guys.
That's what kept me going.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Word. All right. Well, our rating's going to be interesting now that we had this real talk, but I'm glad that we did. All right, let's get to who won the movie. To me, there's only one winner in this movie, and it's real. It's a real life winner. It's not the character. It's John David Washington. He is the winner of this movie, flat out. It propels him to do Tenet. It propels him to the mega superstardom that he is in. He is no longer Denzel Washington's child. He is now JD Dubs. That's my winner. And the only other person I'll accept is Driver. That's the only other person, because Driver could be said that he won too. Shubert, who you got winning in the movie?
I got John David Washington, real life John David Washington, because for all the reasons you said. I mean, it propelled his career. I think that he does we didn't know who he was. I legitimately did not know who he was.
I knew he was the guy from Ballers. Yeah, so I knew he was the dude from Ballers.
Like, this was a completely unknown person to me, and then I find out he's Denzel's son, like, after the fact, and I'm just like, wow, that's wild. Some of the behind the scenes stuff I did, Ron Stallworth, the real Ron Stallworth, wanted Denzel to play him, but they got John David. But I mean, like, this was a breakout for him. Like, he needed this to be the guy that he is now. So I mean, like, that's
and interestingly enough, I think the movie's better that it wasn't actual Denzel and it was Denzel's son, because it could have become
Denzel tore that script the fuck up, bro. Oh my mama, if Spike hands Denzel that script, the movie does not come out till 2020 because his revisions need to be looked at.
Now you say that, but like, I don't know what script Denzel was reading when he signed on to be in The Little Things
or Two Guns.
Yeah.
Denzel been doing some stinkers.
The Little Things was weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Trash, dumpster juice. Don't even get me started on that.
So, he did that for a check.
All right, there you go.
Brooqlyn, who you got winning this movie?
I'm going Flip.
Okay.
Because he's the one that actually ended up with the Oscar nominee for it, because he did the thing, and it was, to go off of what Ian said, it was the only character development we saw. It was the only in-person struggle we really seen with him being self-conflicted, where before he never even really mentioned it to people that he was Jewish, and all of a sudden he feels like him being around these motherfuckers making him dirty.
Yeah. Okay, you got Driver winning. I'm not mad at that. I fuck with Driver. Shubert knows where I stand on AD. Driver killed it. And this kind of was big for him, too, in a sense that he showed he could do Star Wars. This was like him. This and Marriage Story was showing like, nah, bro, I got acting chops. Like, I can really do
I got range, bro. Chill.
Yeah, facts. Ian, who you got winning the movie?
I would say, as far as people, movie characters, I would say Patrice wins because she doesn't die by a bomb at the end of the movie. So that's pretty tight.
And she's hot.
Also, yeah, she's not
wins
ugly,
she's
that's
hot.
for sure. And then out of the movie, I would say Adam Driver as well, just because he got the nomination.
Got you. I like all of our winners. All right, let's get to who lost. It's the white lady, the fat white lady.
Connie.
She lost. She
big
lost.
L's.
Big fat L's. Also, Landers lost too, if we want a second loser.
Oh yeah, he was
fuck Landers.
They get him on, like, was it sexual harassment or was it just regular harassment?
Sexual harassment and police brutality and sexual harassment.
I'd like to point out that 2 running backs in a row, my loser has been Connie.
That's a
shout out to Godfather.
Shout out to the Godfather. That's a fact. Yo, okay, wait, hear me out. Is John David okay? No, wait, let me not say John David. Is Ron Stallworth, the character, a loser because his investigation got canned and everything he worked for got shut down and flushed away and people didn't know about it? Is that considered a loss?
Absolutely.
That has to be considered a loss.
That's
an L. Cool. Just making sure. All right, well, let's see. Ian, you can start us off. Who you got losing officially?
I was going to say Ron, and also, all the KKK guys that got blown up by Connie at the end, and Connie as well. Really, I don't think anybody really walks away in a better position after this movie. How did they leave? Oh, David Duke is like still a well-respected speaker. He's like in a 2017 rally at the end. Right. So I guess David Duke doesn't go downhill after that. But
no, he does not.
I mean, he's still running large on the West Bank. So
that's a fact.
Yeah, he's just kind of neutral at the end. So I'm not sure if anybody really wins. And I would argue that Ron is the biggest loser because he's just spent all this time working on this case, and then they got to, burn the records. Yeah. So at the end of it is like, I just risked my life for months for pretty much nothing, because I don't think anything really big in the papers comes out about it either.
Until now, like this is his win. His win is now getting money from making this movie
and the memoir.
Yeah, in the memoir. Yeah, like the memoirs in this movie is his win in terms of 1960 something. Ooh, you gotta think about how many nights that man went to sleep with fat L's. Like, yo, that's a big L. Every night going to bed knowing that you did all this shit and nobody knows about it and nobody doing nothing about it and everything's still the same. Gosh, that's an L. Brooqlyn, who you got losing?
That's a fact, bro. It's Ron, bro. It's Ron. It's a close second. It's a real close second for Felix because he was real fucking close to catching this motherfucker flip. He was real close to catching this motherfucker. Then he ended up in an air fryer. But he was real close, bro.
He was close. I'm not mad at that. Shubert, who you got losing?
Connie.
You got Connie? Okay, we're going Connie. Man, y'all, because I brought up the Ron Stallworth thing. I'm with you in Brooqlyn, man. It's Ron Stallworth. My second is Connie, though, because Connie killed her husband and she watched her husband die. And now she's just a white woman without the clan.
She's in jail.
Fuck with her. Yeah, you're right. She's in jail. Yeah, she's fucked. It's over for Connie. So, yeah, those are the two losers. All right, let's get to sixth man of the movie. Shubert, is this fucked up of me to say that all shit should be a sixth man of the movie?
Yeah, it is fucked up.
Wow.
I know Ian's gonna be pissed.
Wow, this motherfucker is nuts.
Yeah.
Giving it to all shit. Okay, who do y'all think gets it?
I have Topher Grace / David Duke.
Okay. You got Topher Grace and David Duke. I'm not mad at that. Ian, who you got at six? Wait, Shubert, let me ask you. Do you think he was in too much of the movie to be considered a six man?
No.
No, okay.
He was a main. He wasn't necessarily a main character, and if you like, and I'm pretty sure if you look at like the cast list, he's like
the cast list is
pretty far. He's pretty far down the list. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'll accept that. Ian, who you got? Six man.
I was gonna say Alec Baldwin as Dr. Kennebrew Beauregard.
You're going scene one. See, if you're going that, I could give all shit six man.
Oh, he had a much more important scene than all shit had in the movie.
Shit.
What about Michael Buscemi, man?
Who?
Michael Buscemi was good, but he was in what, like 1-2 scenes? So yeah, I guess you could give him six, man.
He won.
He just loves OJ, man.
Okay.
He does love OJ.
Okay, so Ian's giving it to Alec Baldwin. Brooqlyn, who you giving six man to?
I got Sergeant Trap.
Okay, wait, that's not the chief. That's the one who said
the sergeant. The guy
that's the one who said he's getting circle jerked. I like that. That's a good answer.
Because the scenes he was in tied the movie together. Whether it was him going with Stallworth to get permission to start the investigation, then him coming back to him telling him, hey, Duke is doing this because he's trying to get into political movements, and then him coming back at the end, being just as fucking stunned as.
All right, so yeah, we had some technical difficulties. My internet went out. Don't know why, but we're back up. So I'm gonna go through again, just get everybody six man winners. Ian said Alec Baldwin, correct, Ian? All right, Brooqlyn, who you got six man?
I had Sergeant Trap.
You got Sergeant Trap. Okay, that's the reach around. You're jerking my chain. He's jerking my chain. Everybody's jerking my cock. All right, Shubert, who you got?
Topher Grace / David Duke.
Okay, so y'all all gave y'all. All right, well, I guess mine is I can't give it to all shit. I want to give it from the cop from Law and Order, the head chief. If y'all know, he's the guy that does the internal organization, like IR,
internal affairs.
Yeah, internal affairs, IA. He's the IA guy. I want to give it to him, but I'm leaning more towards either David Duke or Sergeant Trap. I'm going with Shubert. I'm going David Duke, Topher Grace, even though he might be a starter. But I'm gonna say six man. All right, let's get to the ratings. Ian, go ahead. You know this thing, 1 through 10. What you giving Blackkklansman?
See, I don't know, man. I've been all over the place with my ratings in the past.
You have.
I feel like my main problem with this movie is there's not enough context to make me care. Like I found myself asking a lot, why do I care about these characters? So for that reason, I'm going to go 7.4. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good concept. I thought for the most part, it was well done. There were just a few things that I would have liked to see fleshed out a little bit more. So that's why I had to drop it some points.
Solid rating. Not mad at that. All right. I'm gonna go, Brooqlyn, you're gonna be last because you're new to the rating scheme. Shubert, who you rating? What you rating this 1 through 10?
I actually have it at 8.5.
Ooh, that's why we do movie podcasts together, Shubert. I'm gonna give my rating a little bit, but that's why. All right, Brooqlyn, what you got? 1 through 10. Where you at?
I'm probably going to 8. Solid 8.
You're going 8. Schubert, I'm right there with you. 8.5. I'm right there with you, bro. This is an 8.5 for me. I thought the film was good. Not a 9, not over an 8.5, but I thought it deserved the 8.5 rating. So as we do this, we add up our scores to get the aggregate run it back score. So 8.5 plus
should be
5 plus 7.4
something like
plus
should be like 8.1
divided by 4. Yeah. Oh, look at you. Look at you knowing your numbers. I see you out
there,
here,
Ray, man. Shit.
Okay,
Come on now.
Aggregate score locked in 8-1 for Run It Back. It does not surpass the Run It Back King. It doesn't surpass a lot of the films we've rated so far. It might be. Is it our lowest rated film? I think it might be.
It might be, yeah.
Because Pulp Fiction
I dragged us down with Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction was the lowest rated film before this, which is blasphemy. Ian made it a 8.4, which is crazy.
Was it blasphemy?
Yeah, it was blasphemy, Shubert. Yes, it was. This is an 8.1.
The other movies we watched.
Look, this one's an 8.1. It's below Pulp Fiction. It's now the lowest. The Run It Back King.
It's a Spike Lee movie, though. Come on now.
The Run It Back King is still Godfather. That's still the Run It Back King, and I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. But Brooqlyn, we're going to bring you back, man. Me and Shubert want to review Friday at some point, so we got to bring you back for that.
So ghetto. How you know I don't want to fucking review a Christian Bale movie? I want to review Friday. You gonna bring me on here for some PBS special? This some bullshit. All right, everybody out there listening, this some bullshit.
We'll bring you back on for American Psycho if you want. We can bring you back.
I like that.
All right.
I ain't gonna say no crazy shit, but I can see myself in that character.
That's some crazy shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you're obsessed with your business card too?
I got.
Oh, that eggshell white makes me want to jizz.
Y'all said I ain't got one right here. Hold on, bro.
Silly,
y'all playing games, bro.
Y'all silly. That's enough of this for this week. But great Run It Back. Brooqlyn, tell the people they can follow you on social media.
You find me on all social medias at where Brooqlyn at. That's Brooqlyn with a Q, not a K. That's for marketing purposes.
Because we are not trying to get sued. Ian, tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me at IanBWT on Twitter. You can follow me at IanHawley12 on Instagram. You can follow me on SoundCloud at Chop Shop, and on YouTube I'm Old Daddy because I couldn't secure both of them on 2 platforms. So
Man's
I got
Old
the
Daddy
main split for now. I'm looking for a buyout. If you know somebody on GoDaddy.com, hook me up with that domain. Slide in my Twitter DMs and we'll get it going.
Let's get Ian a buyout. Shubert, tell the people they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Shubert14. Bros Who Binge
out,
probably out.
Yeah,
now.
It's out. It's definitely out. So y'all make sure y'all check that out.
We talked about WandaVision. We talked about Close Enough, the HBO Max show, and we had some big news. Black Superman, and also some big Star Wars rumors in the top half. So
that's a fact. Y'all make sure
lots of pretty interesting trailers out there, and this is a great month for movies and television. So make sure that you keep an eye out on what's on streaming.
We got a lot of reviews coming your way. Y'all be sure to subscribe to the YouTube. Click the link in the bio. Join the Discord. Come talk movies with us. Come shit on Brooqlyn for saying Friday's a PBS special, which is garbage, lies, and trash. He's talking about Boys in the Hood. That's the true PBS special, but I digress. Y'all come join the Discord to tell Ian that his Pulp Fiction rankings are horrible. Y'all come in the Discord to tell Shubert we love you. And then y'all just come through to the Discord, man. Link in the bio. Y'all follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. But that's all we got for this week. The new poll for the Run It Back will be out like in a couple days because we're doing one. We're coming right back with it because we gave all off February. So we'll be back very soon. But until then, peace.